Mr. President. We had an amendment. There was a floor amendment. It is Senate Amendment number 674, and I would like to ask a question of the senator that proposed the amendment. If my understanding is, by reading this amendment, which has not had an opportunity to go through any hearings, that the intent of the amendment is to deny the right of school boards to block biological males from going into biological female bathrooms, locker rooms, or any sporting events. Is that correct? And that's Section 1 of Senate Bill 423. Am I missing something here? I'd like to get that clarified. The amendment, as I'm reading it, says very clearly that a board of trustees will now be penalized to the tune of $5,000 a day if they do anything that involves sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, and deny anybody who has that to any use of school facilities or activities.
Well,
correct or not?
Senator Hansen, I
don't know. Question.
I don't know who you're directing that to, but
that is to the sponsor of Senate Amendment number 674, which is Senator Donati. President, well, I will now address that. And that bill is an extremely controversial amendment, and I could tell several of our colleagues, including members of the majority party, were surprised by what I asked. But what this bill does now, and by the way, the original bill was fully supported in the Assembly, but with this amendment, this is now exceptionally controversial. We have now basically criminalized the school boards of Nevada from dealing with the ability to block biological males from participating in female sports. And since this includes facilities, that would, and I asked LCB, that would include bathrooms, locker rooms, and so forth. So I would absolutely encourage my colleagues that, this, to drop this as a floor amendment without any hearings on what could arguably be one of the most controversial discussions across the entire nation at the moment is a big mistake. So I would urge my colleagues or the Senate Majority Leader, if we want to perhaps reconsider that amendment, I would like to ask for that, but since it's on there already, I would encourage my colleagues to absolutely vote no or postpone this vote till we have an opportunity to discuss the amendment. The original bill was supported by everybody in the other house, and we were all fine until the amendment was dropped as well, I might add. So in the absence of removal of this amendment, I'm interested in making sure that we protect especially female sports from having biological males being allowed to compete in those types of events, and absolutely want to make sure that biological males are not allowed into biological female locker rooms or bathrooms, which this amendment would now prevent a school board from doing, and would not only prevent them, but would authorize a fine of $5,000 a day for every day that those school boards have that policy in place. So I would urge my colleagues to please reconsider this amendment, and in the meantime, in the absence of that reconsideration, to vote no on Assembly Bill 423. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, thank you. Again, this is an extremely controversial subject, and we should absolutely suspend the vote on this until we have an opportunity for both houses, or excuse me, for our house to really get into this, because while it is true we're not criminalizing it, we are going to definitely be fining school boards $5,000 a day for essentially saying that biological males will not be allowed to participate in biological female sports or go into biological female locker rooms. And I can assure you, I would call this amendment the Bud Light Amendment. I mean, that is a major controversy across this state. There's an enormous backlash across this country on this very issue. And to do this as a floor amendment and not have any hearings and put it on a bill that originally was fine, which both parties supported completely in the other house, is absolutely an abuse of the process. So again, I don't know if we can stop it at this point, but in the absence of stopping it, the people that vote for this bill are basically saying we are going to penalize school boards that try to block biological males from participating in biological female sports. So I would urge you to very carefully consider this vote, because this is a major issue that we should have had extensive discussions on in committee and in our caucus rooms, not on a floor amendment at the last minute in the last waning days of a legislative session. So again, I urge you to vote no in the meantime on AB 423.